Hello and welcome. Now, hearing in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case at the International Court of Justice at The Hague has concluded for the day. India's former Solicitor General Harish Salve is representing India in the case. Until now, the Indian side's argument has stuck to what was expected. It has accused Pakistan of violating the Vienna Convention. India reiterated the fact that India was repeatedly denied consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Harish Salve also raised the manner in which Jadhav's family was treated when they were allowed to meet him on the 25th of December 2017. Salve said, and I quote, "India was dismayed at the manner the meeting with Jadhav's family was conducted and wrote a letter on the 27th December marking its protest," unquote.
An Indian was detained, purportedly arrested, a confession extracted, then he was tried and convicted by a military court, awarded death sentence. And all along, requests for consular access were rejected. This, quite plainly, is an egregious breach of Article 36.
India had moved the International Court of Justice in May 2017 against the farcical trial by the military court of Pakistan against 48-year-old Jadhav. Kulbhushan Jadhav, a retired Indian Navy officer, was sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on charges of espionage and terrorism in April 2017. All right, for more in the story, I'm now joined by KTS Tulsi, senior advocate in India's top court. Mr. Tulsi, thank you for joining us on Wion World is One. Does India have a watertight case in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case at the ICJ? And in your estimation, is Pakistan in violation of the Vienna Convention?
With regard to the first question, I think it is Mr. Salve who is qualified to answer that, because he has possession of the entire material that was relied upon in the course of trial. And with regard to the second question, Vienna Convention, there were 17 requests for consular access which were denied. And the one which was permitted was also in clear violation of the Vienna Convention. If you will recall, Mr. Jadhav's family, that is mother and wife, were asked to remove their Mangal Sutra and bangles and bindi before going into the chamber where the interview was to take place through the partition of glass. They were asked to change their clothes. They were prevented from talking in mother tongue. The wife's shoes were not returned. The Deputy High Commissioner was allowed to join them after much persuasion. And you see, there was clearly a lot of psychological trauma that was writ large on his face, having been on the death row for more than a year. And he seemed to suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. And that is why he wouldn't say anything against his captors.
Mr. Tulsi, what kind of precedent might this case set for India-Pakistan relations, and also how might it impact the relations going forward if the verdict goes either way?
I don't think this is going to have such an impact on the relations. This is a judicial process to which both parties have submitted themselves, and I'm sure either of the countries against whom the decision goes will accept it in good grace.
And one last question, Mr. Tulsi. In your estimation, does the fact that India moved the ICJ demolish the myth that India is afraid of internationalizing the Kashmir issue or India's ties with Pakistan on such sensitive issues?
You see, those are very complex issues which involve hundreds and thousands of or lakhs of people. Whereas this is a crime either way. Either our case is that he was kidnapped from Iran and then brought there in breach of the Vienna Convention, and they are accusing him of being a spy. Now, the burden is on them to establish the documents which would establish that he is a spy. If he is not, then obviously he has been framed. And I think the International Court of Justice will certainly go into the entire evidence that has been used in the course of the trial, and then arrived at an independent conclusion as to whether it establishes the guilt of the charge with which Kulbhushan Jadhav is accused of.
All right, on that note, Ms. KTS Tulsi, thank you for joining us on Wion World is One. Appreciate it.